Hi, it's Jason from drpremed.com, and I want to talk to you guys. I actually have a public service announcement because I don't know what's happening right now, but I've been speaking to a lot of pre-med students recently in regards to planning on getting in medical school. They want to apply to medical school for this upcoming application cycle. That's great. And right now, we're midway through February, and medical application cycles are going to begin opening up in June. So let's do some math there. We have March, we have April, we have May, and we have, let's say, a little bit of June even. That's 3 to 4 months before the application cycle opens up. But what I'm finding out is students are telling me that they're planning on taking the MCAT in either June or July. This is too late if you want to apply to medical school. You have 3 to 4 months right now to begin preparing to get in the medical school, so you need to utilize your time wisely. I know a lot of students are telling me that they're taking other courses, they're in grad school, they're undergrad, and they want to finish the semester strong. That's good, but you have to realize you're going to have time management, because getting into medical school and even in medical school and being a doctor, it all comes down to time management and juggling multiple balls at the same time. Because I told somebody, I forget who I told this to, I say when I'm in medical school and I'm studying for my boards, my classes don't stop. I still have to go to class, do my normal coursework, and then also figure out time how am I going to study for my boards. And the board prep is like your MCAT prep on steroids, because that exam's a whole different tired beast that's going to really affect the rest of your career and trajectory in medicine. So that's one thing. So it's not like I'm just telling you things. I've never done it myself or anything like that. I went to grad school too, so I know the demands that you're under, but you got to do something differently if you're serious about getting into medical school and you know you want to get into medical school. You have 3 or 4 months now where you really need to just buckle down and do what you need to do, because I really prefer that you would take the MCAT by May at the latest, because there is a time before when the MCAT was actually only offered 2 times a year. It was in March and August. Those were the only 2 times that you could take the MCAT. So ideally, everybody was getting ready to take the MCAT in March, and so you have a little bit of leeway and buffer now because it's offered many times throughout the year and things like that. But you want to be early, because the early bird gets the worm. AdComs, we get so many admissions or applications for people who want to get into medical school that we're looking for every way to reject an applicant. And if you come in later in the application cycle, we're going to already be more stringent and we're going to be more harder on what we're looking for in an applicant. And so if you don't check off all the boxes that we're seeking, we're going to immediately reject your application because it just doesn't meet what we're looking for. But if you get in early with the application, that gives you a little bit of wiggle room, because okay, we might say, okay, your MCAT maybe isn't as high as we would like to see, but you have your GPA strong and some other extracurriculars, we can kind of work with you. But when it's later in the application cycle, when you take it in June, the earliest you're going to get your scores back is in July, but then there's going to be a backlog from everybody else who applied early in the cycle that you have to wait to get through, and by then it might be a little too late and you're going to run into some issues when it comes to applying to medical school. So definitely do everything possible to apply early and on time so that you can be successful in getting into medical school, because we just see it happen way too often where qualified students, they're just not getting in because by the time they're ready to apply, our class is getting full, and then the other people on the admissions committee were like, no, we're holding out for some really strong applicants and we're not going to give somebody a spot because they applied later and our class is already filling up. And so what you need to do then, if that's the case, you have this time now to prepare. And so what you need to do is you need to take the weekends and you need to study, because most likely you're not taking class, and so you need to use the weekends to study. Maybe you need to wake up early and study, and you need to carve out time anywhere, anyhow in your schedule to study and do what you need to do to study for this MCAT so you can get into medical school. The MCAT needs to become your life. You need to cut out all other distractions. You need to put away other things, and you just need to say, you know what? these next 3 to 4 months are really going to shape the rest of my life. So I'm going to have to forgo some sleep here and there. I'm going to have to forgo socializing. I'm going to have to buckle down academically. I'm going to have to put in the work to pass my classes, do well, protect my GPA, but I'm also going to have to put in work overtime to prepare for the MCAT and do what it needs to do. Even waking up an hour every morning can make a big difference in your score, or even finding 30 minutes a day to study. That's going to add up to significant time over a week, and when you multiply that week over 4 weeks and then over 3 to 4 months, you can do the math. You can see how you can make a lot of damage there. So you need to start carving out time anywhere, anyhow possible, so that you can do what you need to do to be successful and get into medical school. Because right now, it's not like we're talking where it's April or May and you're telling me you want to take the MCAT in June. No, it's February right now. You can get ready, you can buckle down, you can do whatever it takes to prepare and be ready for the MCAT. You might think that, oh, Jason's being over the top. I really can't juggle as much as what I need to do, but I'm not being over the top. Getting into medical school is difficult. 60% of first-time applicants to medical school are rejected. That's not a joke. That's not a game, and you don't want to come out on the wrong side of admissions decision because you weren't willing to do what you needed to do to get into medical school and put in the time and effort to start studying for the MCAT early and apply early and on time to get into medical school. That's what it comes down to. AdComs are busy people. They're not going to be forgiving. They're not going to be like, oh, you know what? We empathize with you with all this other stuff that you had going on in your life. So that's fine that you didn't apply right on time. That's not how it works. It's a numbers game. They're running computers or screening applicants by MCAT, score, and GPA. That's going to be the first cutoff. You don't make that, you're not going to get anywhere. If you do have the numbers, then it's going to start digging into personal statement and some other extracurriculars and things like that. But it's really tough to get in, and my job is to help you so that you can get in. So I'm the guy who's been there. I've been pre-med. I've done that. I've done medical school. I know what it takes to get in, to get to the next level. Where you want to be a doctor, you have to make sacrifices at each step of the process, and this is one of the sacrifices you have to make. You have to ask yourself, in the words of my high school football coach, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be a doctor? How bad do you want to get into medical school? And if you're really serious about it and you really want to be a doctor, then you're going to have to buckle down and do what it takes to get in. I remember when I was in medical school in the basic sciences, so this is basically the classroom work, and what was going on is we would have exams and we would study hard. We would study long and hard. We would study every day for exams, and the weeks leading up to exam, we would pull basically all-nighters to get ready because we sacrificed so much in the semester, so much in this coursework that we're not going to give up at the end. We're going to go harder. I know some kids slept at school studying all night in the study rooms. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but sometimes, you know what? If it's just an exam where you just know you need to know the material, you can forgo sleep, you can be caffeinated, you can do whatever you need to do and stay up all night, take that exam, and then crash and then get ready for the next exam. That's what you're going to have to do in medical school. So you need to buckle up now and do what you need to do so that you can get into medical school. And it all begins with the MCAT, because the MCAT is the number one factor that determines whether you get into medical school or not. And I don't want to see you coming to me or having difficulty getting into medical school where your numbers look okay or decent, and the biggest problem that we have is that, well, you know what, you applied too late in the application cycle and it's just a numbers game that wasn't favorable to you. So I'm trying to help you prevent that from happening to you, because it's going to cost a lot of money to have to reapply to medical school. There's going to be a year wasted of your time and all these other factors that you don't want to think about, but I have to think about because I'm a pre-med coach and I help students all the time. And I want to prevent that from happening to you. I want to see you get into medical school. I want to see you in your white coat. I want to see you with your stethoscope. I want to see you at your white coat ceremony when family and friends are clapping and cheering when your name's called as you go across that stage and you're getting welcomed into the field of medicine. But it's not going to happen unless you study for the MCAT. You get a good score on the MCAT. You want to take the MCAT once and only once, but you want to apply early. And you want to be ready to go so when June comes around, everything's all set. on your application. You're not telling me, you know what, I got to wait to see how I did on the MCAT to see if I should apply to XYZ school or not. You don't want to do that. You want to have everything mapped out. You want to be ready and you want to rock and roll. So this is Jason with drpremed.com signing off with some MCAT tough love with my public service announcement about why it's imperative that you take the MCAT early. You want to get it out the way. Ideally, I want to see you take it in April and maybe even early May at the latest, but don't wait until June and July to sit for the MCAT. You have the time now to prepare and rearrange your schedule and do what you need to do. And if you're struggling with the MCAT, I have my MCAT Master Companion course, or some students that just want one-on-one coaching session where we can plan, map out your strategy so that you're not wasting time, you're not doing the wrong things, and you're going to get where you need to be. Again, Jason from drpremed.com.